Hi everybody, welcome. Tammy from Homesteading in the City with Tammy. Today's video, we are outside in the garden again, and I wanted to show you what I do or how to plant your canna plants in a pot. If that is something that interests you, stick around. So before we get started, I just wanted to welcome everybody to my YouTube channel. I appreciate you stopping by. For those of you who have been here from the beginning, I really appreciate you coming by each week and watching the new videos that I put out. For those of you who this might be the first time you've seen my video, I welcome you and I hope you find the content interesting. And for those of you who have not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. It does benefit me by you subscribing to my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's get started. So last year at the end of the season, I showed you guys how to remove and store your canna plants and to winter them over so that you could have them to plant again next year. And I also said that I do not throw away all of my dirt. So as you can see, there's still dirt in these pots. I emptied this one out so that we could start with this one, and I can show you exactly what I do as far as filling the pot with soil and then putting the canna plants in it. But I do store all of my dirt over the season, over the winter, and I just add fresh compost and soil with this. So this will be like the bottom, and then the top 2 inches or so will have some new soil in it. But this allows me to not have to buy as much soil each year, because as you can see, I have a lot of pots that I put in the garden with stuff in them. So being able to use that, it really does help. I don't have to use so much and buy so much soil. This is the best way I can to save and reuse as much as I can. I just try to do a new feeding soil with my what I plant here, and then I also will fertilize with the fish emulsion fertilizer that I have. So that will also, after I plant everything, I will mix up a batch of fish fertilizer and I will water everything really good and give them a good start of some vitamins and minerals and stuff for from the fish emulsion. But so this is where we're at this point in time. So there's my empty bucket. Let me show you what the canna looks like after I had dried it over the winter. Okay, so this is my box of canna that I had. I just lay the canna in a bed of straw and I put it in my basement and let them dry out. And as you can see, there's still some yellow in this. They are still alive. We've got a sprout right here that is the new sprout, and that's how you would know what to put up when you plant. So you want to put that so it's facing up. But this is a good one to be able to plant in the ground, to be able to get some more. Some of them, like this one here, where's my camera? There's this end here, as you can see, is dead, but this end, there's a white sprout right there. So I'd be able to put this in the ground and have this pointed up. And I don't know if that side there is dead or not. Yep. Well, no, that side might still be alive. It's a little firm there still, so it might still be alive. But this side for sure is alive. But to be able to plant them in the ground just like that. So this is what they look like after they've dried. I had just stuck them in this cardboard box. They were dry when I put them in here, so they weren't wet or anything. So they just stayed in the basement in this cool, dark box all winter, and they dried out even more, but they didn't die. So this is what I have left from my canna. This is way more canna plant than I need to put in the 4 pots that I'm going to do, but I'm going to put a ton of them in there so that I have a nice big batch of canna plants when I put them in. But this is all I did with them. I have my cardboard box, as you can see, and I have a layer of straw in the bottom of it. I just reuse my straw every year as best I can. Once I'm done, I'll fold this up and I'll put it in my shed, and then when it comes time to put the canna in it again, I will pull it out and put the canna in here to dry. They were touching each other over the winter, and they did not rot. Some of them, of course, did not make it, and I knew they weren't going to. Like this one. Oh no, this one is still good. Oops, sorry, my finger got in front of there. This one is still good. I thought it was a little soft, but it's not. But you'll be able to see what is bad and what's not when you look at them. The ones that are rotten will be soft, and you can tell that they are dehydrated, I guess is what I want to say. They're probably not soft, but they're dehydrated so that there is no, you can tell there's no life left into them. So that is how you check to make sure your cannas are still alive. Okay, so let me show you how I prepare my pots. And I'll just show you one, and then, you know, multiples. I do 4 of them. I have 2 on the front porch and 2 on the back porch because the butterflies like them, and so do the hummingbirds. They go crazy over them, so I like to have them on the front porch so I can enjoy both the butterflies and the hummingbirds all season. And trying to get them, this is the middle of April, I'm trying to get them into pots early so that they will start growing. Last year they didn't start flowering until the end of August, and it was a little late for the hummingbirds and butterflies and stuff like that. So I kind of want to get a head start on them and see if I can't get them to bloom maybe in June or July. You know, let's see what we can do. So let me show you what I do for the pots. The first thing I do with my pots is I take an old flower pot that I had, a hanging basket pot, and I turn it upside down in the bottom of my bigger pots. This allows me to have a hole in the bottom of the pot so that I don't have so much dirt. I used to use stones in the bottom of the pots to keep from putting so much dirt in them, but the problem is that the stones end up getting really heavy and they're hard to move around. And when I plant them out in the garden or in the spot where if I do it on the deck, I got all the dirt and everything that ends up going all over the deck. So I just wanted to do it in the garden, so I do it back here, but they're really heavy to move. I usually, once I get them planted, I put them on a dolly and I move them around where I need to move them around, but I got steps to take them up onto the back porch or steps to take them onto the front porch, and they get a little heavy to do when you're starting to put rocks in the bottom of them to fill in a hole. So this was my way to fill in the hole. But the other thing that I do in order to keep the hole from the dirt from going down into this hole, I take some landscape fabric and I put over top of that hole and I tuck it down in there. So now I have an area that isn't going to have any dirt, but also I'm not going to lose my dirt through this. And then I just start filling it with dirt. Now the bottom part of it I'm going to fill with the old dirt that was in the buckets from last year, and then I'm going to top it off. Once I get it to where I need it to be, then I will put my cannas in, and then I will top it off with the fresh dirt on the top of it. So let me fill it with dirt and I'll show you how full I'm filling it. So I get it about halfway full with the old dirt, and then I just push around the side of the pot that I have inside there to make sure that the dirt falls down around there so that once it starts to move, it doesn't collapse and you lose everything that you have inside, all your plants and stuff like that drop down even further. So you want to make sure that you push it down, get a nice firm base, and that is about halfway full. And that's where I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to put my cannas inside there, and then I'm going to put more dirt on top of them, covering it to right about here of my pot, so that I have, that's about as high as I'm going to have dirt in my cannas. I want to be able to have a nice root base, but I don't want to have so much dirt that I can't pick up my pots. And this seems to work really well for me. So I have that in the bottom, and then I can put my cannas here and put 3 inches of dirt on top of them, and it'll give them a good root base. And then I'll still have some time. If I feel I need to put more dirt, I have room here to put more dirt if it settles even more and it's a lot lower than right here. So that is my plan. Once I put the dirt in, put the cannas in, and push down, I want my dirt to be right about here. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years, and it seems to have worked really well. And then sometimes over this, it'll settle even more, and I'll have to go and add fresh dirt on top of this to keep it there. But once the cannas start growing, the other thing that you can do, and I've done this also, is once they start coming out of the ground, you can gradually add more dirt on them so that it'll allow them to have a nice root base and a nice root bottom. You can just keep adding skims of dirt over top of the sprouts that keep coming out, and that'll allow to have a good a base underneath there. So let me get the cannas put in here and I'll show you what they look like before I cover them with dirt. So this is the number of cannas that I put in my pot. There's quite a few in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 cannas in this pot. That'll allow me to have a nice, if they all grow, it'll allow me to have a nice big pot of cannas and some flowers and stuff through them. So now all I'm going to do is just take some fresh dirt that I just got and put over top of all of this up to this line right here. And then once I get it up in there, I will push down on it so that it's tighter around there. Not too tight. I mean, I won't lay on it, but I will push it down, pack it down so there is no air pockets inside of all of this. And that way it will be a little bit easier to, you know, it's less that it's going to shrink once you start watering, because once you give it a drink, all the soil is going to be wet and it's going to sink down in. So you want to be able to make sure that it's not going to sink down too far and your cannas are planted too deep and they won't grow. So that's the whole point. You don't want to get them too deep. But so far this has worked really good for me, having the 3 inches there. And then like I said, once they start popping out, a lot of times I will add a little bit more of a layer of dirt over top of them so that this base is really covered in dirt and the roots are always covered in dirt. So I'll show you what it looks like once I get them covered. Okay, so this is what the pot looks like once it is completely filled. Like I said, it's almost to the top of this line here. I just patted it down a little bit. Wasn't real firm on patting it. I just want it tight so that it doesn't settle too much. Like I said, once I water it, it'll settle a little bit more. And then once everything starts growing, I will add a little more dirt to it so that I have a good root base. And again, once I get all of my pots planted here, I will make up some of my fish emulsion, fertilizer, and I will feed them to give them a good start in wanting them to grow. I'm probably going to leave them in my garden right now since I don't have anything planted here and it's early enough. I will leave them in the garden here and allow them to start growing. Once I get some growth on them and they start producing something, I will put them on the porch. Right now they just look like empty pots sitting on the porch with dirt in them. So that's my plan for that. But that is how I plant my cannas and allow them to in pots. That way for me it's the easiest. I don't have to dig them up. I can just dump them out of these pots in the fall and pull the weed fabric and the pot away from them, and all of the majority of the roots are attached into that weed fabric, so it allows me to pull them apart and being able to get some of my cannas, you know, easier to break them apart and get those separated. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Well, everybody, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching my video, and I hope you might have learned something by how I plant my cannas in a pot to allow for easier removal of the bulbs in the fall and storage of those bulbs. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you guys have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider doing so. It does benefit me by you subscribing to my YouTube channel. And as always, I will see you on the next one. Bye.